Hello, my name is Emily Rose, and I'm a professional Lenormand and tarot reader. And today we are here with our September forecast. Now, if you are drawn to this reading and it is not the month of September, that is okay. You are still meant to hear the message that you select in this reading. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I would like you to do is to go ahead and select a pile that is calling most to you. We have the healing pile, the truth pile, or the perspective pile. Just select the one that you are gravitating most toward. It doesn't have to be your favorite word or even one of these words that you're working on. It just needs to be something that you're attracted to in this moment in time. So go ahead and take a deep breath and make your selection. Now, before we get to the reading, I do like to mention that all the futures we're going to talk about here are all possible futures. If there is something that comes up in the reading that you're not happy with or that you'd like to change, there is almost always a way to change it. And that's because I'm only asking the cards for information that is helpful for you to know and actionable to you. And of course, you have ultimate control over your actions and what you decide to do in your life. A reading on YouTube cannot dictate that for you. So please combine your judgment and intuition for best possible results for this reading. Okay, let's go ahead and get to the reveal. If you selected the healing pile with the citrine stone here, then this is your reading for the month. Let's go ahead and get started by looking at the area of our life that is coming most into focus at this time, and that is the stars. And the stars is really about our future. And I kind of think of it as like planning for the future and hoping. It's our hopes and our dreams and kind of what it is that we actually desire. So that is the focus of this month. Now let's take a look and see what will transpire this month around that theme. And what we have here is the book, the house, the tree, and we also have the clover. Okay, so I get something a little bit literal here for some of you, and that could be getting information about your family. So this could be like family secrets. This could be things that have just been hidden about your family. Nothing necessarily nefarious, just information that may have been kind of buried away. I could also see this as like genealogy research as well, and getting information that you haven't previously had. And this information may actually help you expand your family. You may be seeing growth. Now, another thing this could be concerning is if you're wanting to actually grow your family. Maybe you're wanting to have a child or adopt a child or something like that. This is also talking about, getting information about doing that and planning for the future. And it's also saying that this is very positive with the clover at the end. You do have some opportunities in this area. So this is a really good month to do that kind of research. And it's also a good idea to kind of find things out in your family that maybe you've been wondering about. Maybe you have something unresolved with another family member and you're ready to figure out what that's all about so you can kind of move on. So this is a good month for that kind of research. It's a good month if you're wanting to expand your family, to do some research on that, to, kind of figure out what you need to do to move forward. The other area that this could concern is your health. If the family area just is not resonating for you, then I would also look at it as your physical body, something you're learning about that, because the house can also represent your physical body. With the tree next to it too, it could indicate health. So this could mean that you're getting good information about your health this month. This could be like a diagnosis, or you find another clue to something that's going on with you. So if the family connection is not resonating for you, you can definitely go that way as well. I do think for most people, this is going to concern family, because that's what I felt the strongest about as I was pulling these cards. Now let's go ahead and look at our advice for the month. Okay, so what we have here is the Hanged Man reverse. So what I'm getting from this is that you may have felt suspended in time for a long time, especially when it comes to the idea of family, or if health resonates more for you, health. What is happening now is that you are standing right side up again for the first time in a long time. So things might be a little bit disorienting, but you're finally ready to unbind yourself from that tree of knowledge here and move forward. You now have the information and the wisdom that you need in order to walk forward in your life. And you may have been suffering or sacrificing for a while, and now you are able to walk free. And so this advice is, let yourself kind of orient to your new perspective in life, and give yourself the ability to move forward when the time is right. Now let's go ahead and look at kind of like what our mantra can be this month, and also just additional advice to kind of get us on the right track. And what we have here is the companionship card. So this is kind of how this healing will occur. And what it's saying is, there may have been a period previously of isolation or feeling alone. I mean, gosh, with the lockdowns and quarantines and things like that, a lot of us have been feeling isolated. And so it's saying that this healing is going to occur through companionship. So now is the time to begin reaching out to people again, to begin to have friendships again. And that's really what's going to help you move forward in this new perspective, because before you might have felt alone, suspended from that tree on your own. And what this is saying is, you don't have to be alone anymore. You have people around you that want to be around you, that want to make that connection with you. And through those relationships, that is where you are going to find healing this month. And now we are moving on to the truth pile here. So if you selected truth, you have malachite as your stone. And let's look at the area that will be most affected this month for you, or kind of the area that's going to come into focus. And what we have is the birds. The birds is all about conversations and communication. So your word and what you say and who you communicate with is going to come into focus this month. Let's go ahead and look at what's going to occur when it comes to our conversations this month and what we may experience surrounding that. Okay, so we have the scythe, the ship, and the bear. So what I'm getting here is that there's going to be some kind of swift, decisive conversations, and also probably some pretty sharp conversations that happen that really direct where you're going to go with a particular person or situation. There's not a lot of dilly-dallying this month. There's not a lot of ruminating happening. I feel like there's going to be power moves taken when it comes to your conversation. So you're going to make a lot of powerful shifts using your word this month. And the other part of that too is that you may actually decide to cut things off that are no longer serving you. You may be putting up a lot of boundaries this month, or not necessarily a lot of them, but you may be putting up important boundaries this month. And this is going to take a lot of personal power in order to do this. It's going to take a lot of strength to do this, but it feels like you're kind of ready to do this in a way. So this month, not a lot of beating around the bush. It's about getting to the point and making these kind of swift, decisive decisions in conversations that actually steer your course and making some power moves. And for our advice this month for our truth folks, we have Strength reversed. This makes a lot of sense, doesn't it, with the bear card over here? What I'm getting here is that this is a month to not doubt your instincts and use your personal power to make those hard decisions. And also to kind of cut off things that aren't serving you anymore. This is really time to trust yourself, and it's time to tap into kind of your inner reserves of personal power. Now with this, you know, we kind of have a beast on the card. Traditionally it's a lion. Here it looks like a wild boar or something like that here. We need to kind of tame that beast within us as we are having these kind of tough conversations this month, and we might be feeling a little bit raw, because if we're having a conversation, let's say, just as an example, with maybe a coworker who is just really not helping us with a project that we need them to help on, so we just state, this is not helpful and here is why, right? Where normally we might beat around the bush, this month it's saying, no, that's not going to be the approach. Or maybe it's with a loved one, and you know, you're finding that communicating with them regularly is toxic for you. So maybe you say, look, I can't talk to you about this topic anymore because it's not helpful for me, right? It's important that you simply state what you need and you don't fully tap into the shadow self in those conversations. It's important that you survey what it's saying, right? So you might be feeling these raw emotions like, I'm so angry, this person makes me feel this way, but we don't need to express that part to the person, because that's not going to be productive if we just rage at them, right? Or if we just say something that might hurt them. Instead, we just need to say the thing that we need to say and move on, right? So that's really what the Strength card is getting at here. So check your emotions as you're doing it. It's important to have them, but maybe not let them out fully in the conversation, and try not to say more than what needs to be said. And now let's go ahead and take a look at our oracle card for our truth folks. This is going to kind of help you form a mantra. So kind of listen to this and come up with a sentence or just even a word. The word on this card might be great for what to kind of repeat to yourself this month. And what we have here is power. And I swear, you guys, I don't, look at the cards as I'm picking them. I really just draw them. I tune in and I draw them with them face down. So it's just amazing to me that we have the bear, strength, power. I mean, this is really the theme this month. And when it comes to power, we have Marie Laveau on this card. And she was a pretty, controversial person in a lot of ways. People might have looked at her one way or the other. And I think she stood in her truth no matter what, right? She stood in her personal power and her truth no matter what other people thought. So this is saying it's important for you to find what your personal truth is. And it's important for you to sit in your power and communicate what that truth is, and not worry about what other people think about it. And last but certainly not least, we have our perspective pile, which has the selenite stone with it. Okay, let's see which area is coming into importance this month, or which one is taking focus. And what we have here is the Tower. Now, what this can represent a few different things depending on how your life is structured. So this could be like a large corporation. If you work for a large corporation or a big company or something like that, a government agency, something like that, this could represent work for you. If you don't, if you are, self-employed like I am, then this could represent a business endeavor, or it could also represent something that you are working to build at this time, something that you're formalizing or that you're creating that is beginning to take shape. Now let's go ahead and look at what we may experience this month surrounding this theme if you selected the perspective pile. we have the cross, the moon, the woman, the crossroads, and the heart. Now I charge the woman to represent you, the querent. So even if you're a male watching this, this is meant to just represent you as the querent. And this is kind of a big month for you. And I feel like you have a lot going on here regarding work or the structures in your life. So kind of what I'm getting is that there are some emotional burdens right now that you're carrying, and this is really heavy. You know that term, it's the cross that you bear, that cross that's on your back. It feels like you might have had to be carrying this for a while. So maybe you were doing a particular duty at work, or maybe you were just in an unhelpful situation, or maybe you're thinking you have to have your business run one way, or you have to serve this type of client or this type of person. And it just kind of weighs on you day after day, and you're kind of taking on the emotional labor of that. And what's happening here is you're getting burnt out, right? There's just so much pressure on you that it can be really challenging to move forward in a direction that feels more aligned, but that's exactly what it looks like you are working toward this month. We have the crossroads here. So I think you're going to get an honest look at your situation. Perspective's our word, remember. I think you're going to get an honest perspective of what's happening this month. And it's important that you move toward what it is that you actually desire. You're going to have a choice here. It might not feel like you have a choice going into this month, but it's saying that you might climb to a higher perspective. And it's important to choose what it is that you actually desire and go in that direction, even if it's really hard or challenging. Because if you think about it, you're already having a really challenging time in the current situation you're in. So this is saying, get to higher ground, take a deep breath, and look around and look at your options. It's saying you have options and you are able to move in a direction that you feel more aligned with. Now let's look at the advice for our perspective, folks. And we have the Five of Swords reversed. I mean, this is just kind of reiterating this whole message here. What I'm getting here is you may be kind of hitting a wall and feeling a little bit defeated at this point. And and this could also be the burnout too, just feeling like I have nothing left in me, I don't know what to do. And you kind of need to reach that point, which I think you have reached in a way, in order to make that decision, because it feels like you've reached the end of the road and you've kind of traveled down this path long enough that now you're willing to make a choice and decision. So now is the time to rise above what is dragging you down right now and to walk away in a different direction, and one that is aligned with what you actually want. And it's time to put the swords down. It's time to stop the fight that you're in right now, because it's saying you can't win, right? Like the fight that you're in right now, it's not the right fight to be in. You can be in a different fight, and one that doesn't even actually feel like a fight, one that feels that it's more aligned. So it's saying put down your sword, it's time to walk away, and it's time to rest for a little bit as well. There's definitely been some burnout happening here, so it's important that you put down your sword, put down the fighting, and it's time to zoom out and get rid of the things that aren't serving you. Put that cross down. You don't have to carry it on your back anymore. And now let's go ahead and look at our oracle card for our perspective, folks. And this is going to help you kind of create a mantra or something helpful to keep in mind as you go forward this month. And what we have is new beginnings. And there's actually a cemetery on this card. And that's because when we feel like we've reached the end of the road with this situation that we're in here, there can be a little bit of grief, like, gosh, I feel like I lost a battle or something like that. But that's not necessarily what happened here. You've gained what you needed to gain from the situation, and now it's time to move on. And there is grief in that, but there's also new beginnings. And you have the opportunity to move in a way that is more aligned for you. You have the heart here at the end of this Lenormand spread. So this is actually a new opportunity, a new beginning for you. So it's important to remember that as you move forward this month, and you have the opportunity to create a beautiful new future for yourself. And this is the beginning of that. So there you have your September forecast. Please be sure to let me know what you got in the comments below. And I would love to know how it resonated for you. And if you would like to work with me more, either through taking a free mini course, getting a reading, or joining a Facebook group that my mom and I have, you can find that down below in the description. Thank you all so much for watching, and I hope you have a fabulous month of September.